Hi, today is June 30th, 2026, and we're going to visit with Joe Scally from Lawler. He was born in 1945, graduated from the Turkey Valley Lawler site in 1963, and then worked at the State Bank of Lawler and Bank Iowa for 41 years while continuously being a resident of Lawler. He did go to the University of Iowa for 4 years and got his BA in marketing, and then of course returned to Lawler. And Joe has a lot of stories he's going to help share with us. We want him to talk about downtown Lawler and some of his memories.
Okay, I'm on.
You're on.
Okay, let's start on Main Street, as we called it, east of the dance hall. There was a business owned by Jim Carlin. Jim Carlin. It was called a CNR Feed Store, dealers in Purina chows. Jim Carlin. Phone 64. That's what we used back then. So he worked out of his house and out of the garage selling Purina chows. So I don't want to forget Jim. And then we move across the road west to the dance hall. Well, before I get to the dance hall, north of the dance hall, as we called it, was Harry Kane. And Harry's, well, how did he describe himself in this thing? Harry Kane. I think he just says hog buyer. Harry Kane, hog dealer. And Harry was a man about town. He was very good to the town. He was in the trustee at church. He was also director at the bank. So Harry was into a lot of things and did a lot of things. Okay, back to the dance hall, as we called it. It was actually called where the hell do I have that? American Legion Hall, Harold Redmond Post, Lawler, Iowa. We just called it the dance hall. There was a dance every Saturday night down there, which was a very lively event. A guy named Campbell Stevenson from Scotland, father-in-law of Merle Costigan.
Oh, yeah.
And father of Myra Costigan. And so...
Is that who ran it? The Merle?
No, Campbell Stevenson, his father-in-law.
Okay, he ran it. Okay.
Yeah, he ran it.
Do you remember any of the bands from back in those days?
Joe Dokes. There was, I can't.
Leo Greco?
Leo would play once a year through the auspices of Clarence Martinique. Clarence had his business was on Main Street, just west of the lumberyard.
Okay.
And he called himself, how the hell did he have that? I have it here somewhere. Well, I can't find it right now.
Okay.
But anyway, Clarence Martinique, Lawler Produce. We buy eggs and poultry, Kent Feeds, phone 11, Clarence Martinique. And Leo Greco would play here because Leo's show was sponsored by Kent Feeds.
Okay.
So he'd come up once a year. Gertie would feed him chicken before the dance. It was a paid dance, so there wasn't a lot of people showing up even then.
And how much would you have to pay to get into something like that?
I don't know.
$1?
Probably.
Yep.
$1.50.
Yep.
I have no idea. So that's where Leo Greco, and I can't think, the Jericho Hot Shots.
Oh, yeah.
Was another group that played there.
Did they ever spin records already back in those days, or was it always a live band?
No. KOL had a disc jockey Dale Woods. Yeah, he'd come up once a month, sometimes twice a month, and spin records, rock and roll stuff. This was late 50s, 57, 59 in there. And we'd have a sock hop, and it was great. It was just terrific, just terrific. People coming from all over. A lot from New Hampton would come down and dance, and had a good time. And if they had a contest for a dance, and if you won, you got a 12-pack or a 6-pack of RC Cola. I never got one because I couldn't dance. But anyway, so that was the dance hall. It was a great place. Around the outer walls were mirrors, and people would go by dancing and look at themselves in the mirror. One guy in particular, and I won't name names, would go by and look in the mirror and comb his hair and all that while he was dancing. Yeah, it had booths. It was a great place. There were fights on occasion down there. There was still a little bit of Irish and German conflict. Not much, but some. And so there were some great fights down there. But otherwise, it was just good dancing, good fun, and good cheer, and everything was just fine.
And at that time, did Lawler have a town law enforcement?
Kinda.
Kind.
Herb Cutsworth, the jail, there was a jail in town, had two jails, or two...
Cells.
Cells? Yeah, 2 cells, yeah. And he was kind of the man in charge. I don't think it got a hell of a lot of business over the years, although at one time during the war, I think my uncle spent a night in there. So Herb was kind of the man. And then also at the dance hall, there would be a guy named, John Costigan. John patrolled the thing. John was a great big tall guy. Hell of a great guy. He would patrol the place. I don't think he ever knocked too many heads, but he was the guy running the. In case anybody got in trouble, John was there to knock heads, which I don't think he did ever. He didn't have to. He was a big guy. So dance hall was great. During the late 50s, we had some groups come through. One was Bobby Bear. I don't know if you remember Bobby Bear, B-A-R-E. He showed up. What was the name of that group I was thinking of the other day? I can't think of it. I think even Johnny Cash might have showed up one time. This was all through KOL and Dale Woods, who knew all these folks. Yeah.
It was a place to be.
It was a place to be. Yeah, no question. Yeah, great place. So anyway, we go from the dance hall, and I can't think of anything else I want to say about the dance hall. Right next door west, on the north side of the street, was Gus Shale. Gus, how the hell did he call himself? My dad worked for him during the war. How did he say it? Gus Shale. I want to get it right. Okay, Hatchery. Gus Shale, S-C-H-A-E-L. He had the greatest signature I think I've ever seen. It was just circular, and it was just a fabulous signature. Anyway, Gus always wore dark green pants. He and his wife Donna lived next door going west. And you wouldn't think Gus would have an ounce of music in him. But he wrote songs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And he wrote a tune called Ring Around the Moon. And he insisted my mother would sing it at the grand opening
Of the
song.
Okay.
down at the down at the dance hall.
Okay.
So Mom said that day she had to sing the song. Gus was up there 3 or 4 times a day. Are you ready? Do you know the lyrics? Da ba da ba da. Well, there was no Mozart or Beethoven, but there was kind of a catchy little tune.
Uh-huh.
Mom said, I got it, Gus. I got it. So that night, down at the dance hall, Gus stepped to the microphone and said, now we're going to sing my song, Ring Around the Moon, sung by Edith Shepherd. So Mom stepped up the microphone, no problem, sang it like crazy. And it was kind of a catchy tune. But you'd looked at him, that guy doesn't have an ounce of music in him.
Mm-hmm. But he did.
He did. So right west of there was kind of a garage. And west of that was the funeral home. Larkin Funeral Home. Later Larkin Martin. Bill Larkin. All the funerals or the wakes were held there. A nice place. They were nice people. David Sands was his right-hand man. Dave was a real character. Bill was kind of straight, you know, and then there was Dave, who had all kinds of personality. He was a beautiful guy. So that was his right-hand man. And then going north from north next door, Doc's good place, Doc Peskanowski's. Doc and Emma and Darlene, their daughter, that lived behind the tavern. He was always saying, good one. He'd be looking out the front door all the time, looking at the skies, looking for the next storm to come through. He was our meteorologist of the day. Great guy, nice guy. I collected papers there on Friday afternoons. And then next door to that was...
Can I ask, how long was Doc's Good Place, do you think, in business?
Probably when Darlene graduated from high school, which would have been 1959. I think they moved to Nebraska.
Okay.
That's where they're buried, he and Emma.
Okay.
She came from there.
Okay.
So I think about 1959, 1960.
And what would be things you would sell in that tavern besides liquor?
Beer mainly. I don't know if he had a liquor license or not.
Okay.
Beer and pop and card games.
Card
A
games.
lot of card games in that joint.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great.
But they didn't do like hot dogs or popcorn, or do you remember any of that?
No, I don't think so.
Not really?
No.
Okay.
We didn't go in there very often, but Dad would go in,
Okay.
play cards.
And what kind of cards did they play back
Euchre.
then? Euchre?
Yeah, always euchre.
Okay.
They had 4 players, so they had enough for euchre. And then next to that was Svensson, Diane Blazik's family,
Okay.
Reuben and Verna Svensson. How do they advertise themselves? Svensson Produce, Egg Station. That's what they called themselves, the Egg Station. And I delivered papers to the house and went down there after school on Friday afternoon and collected 20 cents from Verna. She always had a little cigar box, and she had change in there. So she'd reach in there, give me a couple dimes, and we're off
Away
into the
you
night.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then across the tracks going north was the co-op, as my dad always called it. Farmers well, no, that's a different place. I already had that. Hurricane. Lawler Co-op Shipping Association, as it was called. Feed, fertilizer, farm supplies. Now, it's where the company from New Hampton has their business. What's it called?
Oh, Mick's Shackleton's now.
Right.
That's where the
yeah.
co-op was.
Well,
yeah.
it was actually west of there across the street, and was run by Willie Galligan and Pat Shackleton. I didn't know much about Willie. I really didn't know much about Pat. But later on in life, Pat put on some weight and used to stand in front of the post office and pat himself in the belly, that he felt pretty good. Well, one day he did that, went over to the co-op, and never got out of the car. Died right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pat Shackleton, what a character.
And isn't that funny? Now it's back in the Shackleton name again. Pat Shackleton, and now it's Mick Shackleton.
Well, yeah.
Comes full circle.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, then back south across the tracks to Knight Hardware.
Oh.
I don't remember too much about it. It later became Marie Leonard's variety store. I don't remember too much about it. I remember when Carl died, he they had a parade up the street. I don't know if it was a parade, but I can still see it. I couldn't have been 5 or 6 years old, looking out the window, as my old neighbor Billy Costigan saying, looking out the window, and I remember them marching up the street. So I don't know if Sadie hung on for a while, but eventually I think Marie Leonard bought the store.
Okay.
And Sadie lived upstairs, and she was a nice lady. And I remember going up Friday afternoons collecting paper, and there was a certain aroma in that going up the stairs in the apartment. It was just wonderful. It was great. It was just terrific. Sadie was always very gracious. Gave me 20 cents. They had a son who became an FBI agent, but when he was at Iowa, he was a leading Big Ten baseball average, won the Big Ten batting crown. George Knight.
George Knight.
Yeah, nice guy.
Okay.
Eventually became a FBI agent. So from there, next door was a place of all places. Leonard, well, Marie had the store.
Chicky.
We didn't go in there too much except to buy rubber balls and maybe some baseball cards. And we'd play catch, left-handed games, all kinds of things with rubber balls. But next door, the man himself, Chick Leonard, Donald, how did he call himself? Donald Michael. But anyway, that was a store. I'd like to be a mouse in the corner for all those days that Chick cut hair. He also sold rifles, and he also sold baseball equipment, and I always bought my baseball gloves from Chick. He was a character. He was just a character. Just wonderful, very very funny. He had one of his moves was this. Everybody always mimicked him doing that. But it was a fun place. It was just a fun place. They had a long green table, or not a fence, but a seat where we'd sit and wait for the next for the next time to get in.
And so did he cut pretty much everybody's hair in town?
Yeah.
Including you?
Oh yeah. My mother would always say, "Tell Chick to cut it up high," so I wouldn't have to go back so often and spend 50 cents or whatever the hell it might have been.
And I think I heard somewhere too that he sold watches.
Yes, he did sell watches.
Okay.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was into a lot of things. And baseball coach, Little League baseball coach. He loved sports. Just a good guy, fun place, just a very fun place. And next door, his classmate, high school classmate, Dent and Gert Martin ran Martin's Cafe. That was a wonderful place. If we left the house, where are you going? I was going downtown. Well, we're Martin's Cafe. And my mom and dad would always say, "That's fine. As long as you're going to Martin's Cafe,
They knew you were
no
safe.
problem." They knew we were safe.
Yeah.
They knew we were putting up with the guys who drank too much or cussed too much or so forth. Dent didn't put up with any tomfoolery. So we were safe there. See, there's no question about it. This is the place to eat. Martin's Cafe, Dent, they spelled Dent wrong. Dent and Gert Lawler. Wonderful place. Along the west wall, they had all the baseball teams and basketball teams going back. A whole row along the west wall. And Dent and Gert were just great hosts, wonderful people.
What kind of foods do you remember from in there?
I don't think we ever ate too much food. I went in there basically to eat a cherry or to drink a cherry Coke or a chocolate Coke. That was like heaven, really was. And up in the northwest corner of the building, they had a TV. We did not get a TV in the house till I was 9.5 years old. Now, can you imagine telling a kid today, 9.5 years old? So we'd go down on Wednesday night. My mother loved Arthur Godfrey. He had a talent show. So we'd go down there, and then also there'd be the fights
On TV.
on TV up in the corner. I remember Carmen Basilio, Kid Gavilan, Bobo Olson, some of those names. Just wonderful. And after Arthur Godfrey was gone, we'd stick around and watch the fights. It was great fun. That was sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon. I remember that. And on Friday night, we'd go down to watch the fights. It's sponsored by Gillette. Wonderful, just wonderful fights.
The best nights of your life.
And then west of there was a empty space, but there was a big sign with the names of all the Lawlerites and surrounding area who fought in WW1.
Oh, okay.
The one was in all the papers. Anyway, so
And what
those,
happened to that all?
I would love to know. It's got to be stored somewhere. It can't be just. I got pictures of it, thank God.
And was it like marble rock or bronze or
No, none of that. Just,
none of that?
Just white paint
What? Oh,
with the names of the people on there. Yeah, it was fun.
okay.
It was great. We also had in the middle of the street a flagpole, which was put up following World War I to salute the World War I guys. And there were some guys in town. There was a group of people that lived out south of town by the name of the Slaughters. Do you remember Joe Schauffenville's farm was? Yeah, they lived down there, and people call them slackers. And they put up a sign around the flagpole calling those poor people slackers. Well, my great-grandmother, Bridget Agatha Noon Kirk, walked out there one day in the summertime. It was hot. And that's quite a trek from Lawler and then go down that lane.
Oh,
She went all by herself, and down the lane she goes, and the Slaughters meet her. Mrs. Kirk, please come down. And sit in the under the shade tree, got her something to drink. And she says, I just want to let you know, not everybody in town feels like those people calling you slackers. I just want to let you know that you're fine. All by herself, tough little lady. Anyway, so where am I at? Martin's Cafe.
So tell me what happened then to that sign. How did it finally come down?
The sign at the flagpole
Yeah.
we're talking about?
Yeah. You don't remember for
I do
sure.
not remember. That was done in the 20s.
Okay.
I do not remember. I don't remember any story about it either.
Okay.
So then, west of there, where there are two old buildings that were not occupied when I was growing up. I think one of them was a tavern. Claude Fitzsimmons, known as T. Fitz, ran that. My grandpa Shepherd would go down on Saturday night and help him out. And then there was another building, great big, beautiful building. That wasn't used either, except Ray Woods, towards the end of his life, had a little auction, had auction off furniture that he had bought.
Uh-huh.
And my mother, there was a chair that we still have in the house, Mrs. Schott's chair, Schotts, lived right next to Bert Fox's house, to the north there, black building, I remember. And Mom wanted that chair. So she and Ray fought over that damn chair for years, I think. Hanky wanted $25. Mom got him down to 20, then down to 15, then down to 10. And this went on, I say, for a long time. And finally, Mom says, I'll give you $5, Ray. Get the damn thing out of here, he said. That's how we ended up with that chair, and that's how he got that sold.
And you still have that
Yeah,
chair?
it's a great chair. Rocking chair. Just beautiful chair. Yeah.
Huh.
So anyway, then there was a space, a walkthrough going to the mill, which I think I talked about.
So the mill was different than the co-op?
Correct.
Okay.
Precisely. How am I doing on time?
You're good. You're doing great.
Oh, I forgot about, in the funeral home, the back of the funeral home was an insurance company run by D.V. and Ada Murphy under the quote, friendly service. And they were great people, collected on every Friday afternoon there. Always go in and listen to whatever and leave. It was always dark in there, just dark as hell. But wonderful people. David Vincent, D.V., was a little guy, bald, and he had his hair going over this way. And Ada was a beautiful lady. So I forgot about that. I don't want to forget it. So next,
Can I ask, was the telephone company in there somewhere too? With
across the street.
Oh, across the street.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Then there's an alley west of, the tavern was right west of the World War I sign.
Okay.
It was a wonderful place. Brownie. Lester Brown and his wife Emma, and their children Jim, who just passed away, Jim and Marianne, who lives in Marion, a good friend of my sister's. And that was a place. That was just a wonderful place. Brownie was such a character. He was such a character. We'd go down after religion class on Monday nights, go down and get a Bismarck or a Long John and listen to Brownie. Perfect.
And what made him a character?
Well, he would bet that the sun would come up in the northwest and make a bet.
Okay.
He liked to bet on strange
Anything.
things. Yeah. But he was fun. He was a good guy, and Emma was a sweetheart. So then, let's see. We talked about the Lawler Co-op Shipping Association, Feed, Fertilizer, Farm Supplies. Maybe I mentioned that one before.
You were looking for the mill, is what you were
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.